What is up? Welcome back. And yes, we're back here second time this week. This is the first time that I've had to record double the episodes for one single week. And it's pretty interesting. I've actually never had to record two episodes in two separate days in a single week. And I know usually when it comes to like content creation, YouTubers that record like gaming content and vlogs or everything like that, they sometimes post up to like 3 videos a day or 3 videos a week. But when it comes to podcasting, where you're sitting down and recording conversations that can go up to like an hour plus, it's actually more time consuming to record multiple of these during the week. So this is the first time that I've done this, and maybe even the last time. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, because the only reason why I'm doing this is to keep the content that I'm covering fresh and new, still to the mind. And that's why I'm doing 2 episodes this week. Now, yesterday, September 7th, 2022, and if you guys hear a fan noise, please excuse that, as that's my computer fan in the background, or my laptop fan. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you hear that subtle noise, just ignore it and excuse that noise. But yeah, yesterday, September 7th, 2022, much like every single year, a new year, new iPhone, we had the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 reveal event in September for Apple. It took place yesterday. And will I say, it was actually a really good event. An event that I actually enjoy. And let me just start off by saying, yes, much like consecutive years with Apple, the lineup looks identical to the previous lineup of the previous year. But the thing that Apple is known for doing is coming up with small increments and small updates to their devices and their flagship smartphones every single year. So they won't release a big design change or a big feature change, whether it be hardware or software, that's going to be like bleeding edge technology or eye-opening or fresh technology every single year. Apple has been known for coming out with small increments, smaller updates on their flagships every year. And that's literally the same case here. And some people don't take that lightly. Some people say that what's the point of spending over $1,000 on a phone that looks clearly identical to the lineup that came out last year. And yes, I do agree with that statement. I can see where the consumer and where the customer is coming from. They don't want to blow all that money on a phone that literally looks identical. Because, look, let me just tell you this also. When it comes to technology or smartphones nowadays, the common user, the common customer who purchased these phones, they don't care about display upgrades. They don't care about camera upgrades. They don't care about the software. They don't care about all the gimmicky stuff that the phones have in terms of features. They just want a good functioning phone that can make phone calls, that can send text messages, access the app store, download the apps, and use apps. That's it. That's all that the average consumer and the average user is going to be looking for when it comes to purchasing a smartphone. That's the common user mentality, right? When it comes to smartphones nowadays, and I get that. So yes, people are always going to comment, especially with Apple. They're always going to say the same thing. What changed? There's nothing new about the phone. The phone's literally the same. Don't waste your money, this or that. And yes, while I do agree, you don't have to upgrade to the newest phone on a yearly basis, and you don't have to invest or put that money out there. And I agree that the phone does look similar, and the phone has small increments and small changes. But here's the thing. When it comes to the tech industry, when it comes to the customer side of things, the fan base, the customer base, it's split into a magnitude of groups, right? And I'm going to name each groups out one by one. You have the enthusiast, the content creator, the fan, the tech geek, the person who really has a passion for this type of stuff and using these gadgets and these technologies, reviewing them and kind of seeing how the technology evolves year over year or time over time. So that person will frequently upgrade their iPhone no matter what, or their smartphone no matter what, because they're doing it for enthusiasm, they're doing it for content, and just because they love to see what happens year over year. These are the tech geeks. These are the people that look into like variable refresh rate, for example, or any of the camera updates, or any of the software tweaks and the hardware changes. that's that group of people, and that's that spectrum when it comes to the consumer base, right? Then you have the average consumer, the regular customer, the customer that just wants to buy a good functioning phone, correct? The customer that will take one phone and never upgrade it, or don't upgrade it for the next 5 years, because they say, okay, I'm going to try to have this one phone for as long as I can so that I can save money, preserve my money, and not invest or pay unnecessary amounts of money, because as long as my phone works, then I'm good to go. So those are two groups that it's split under, and two groups that you could identify the consumer base when it comes to these tech companies and these smartphone companies, is the enthusiast and the average consumer. The consumer that just wants a good functioning smartphone. So I just wanted to quickly address that before we review what was revealed. Is that yes, I understand it. Not everyone's gonna take the design changes immediately and be like, okay, this is completely different, or okay, this is literally the same. People are gonna have their comments. People are gonna have their verdict. People are gonna have their opinions, and you know, in a world that's so opinionated nowadays, it's really common every time a new smartphone gets revealed. So I just wanted to quickly address that and quickly talk about that. It's actually really interesting when you think about it, because nobody really thinks about it that way. If you were to ask the average consumer, or if you were to see an average consumer act like a content creator, why do you buy these phones every single year? If they're the same thing, you know, they won't have the idea that an enthusiast has. That okay, I like to see technology evolve, and I like to cover this technology for content for my own platform. So that's why I try to buy it as frequently as possible. You know, it's different compared to like somebody saying, okay, I just buy what's gonna work and what is going to be useful for the next 4 to 5 years. And to me, right, the longevity for a smartphone, the average longevity for a smartphone is 4 to 5 years. After that, you kind of just like have to upgrade, because at that point, camera could get really blurry and just not functioning properly. The speakers could get very dull and very just low and not sound properly. Your display can end up glitching, or your display brightness overall, especially if you're a type of person who drops your phone constantly. If you're the type of person that doesn't really manage your phone that much and just breaks it over and over and over again, then yeah, your longevity of your smartphone over time is gonna just dwindle and dwindle, just lower and lower and lower, and the average time would be 4 to 5 years before you have to buy another one, right? But if you're somebody who really takes care of their phone, really try not to get it scratchy or crack the screens, protects the speakers and the camera lens and your battery. That's one thing too that people don't really they recklessly use your smartphones without knowing the effects that the battery's gonna have, knowing that these smartphones are under chemical lithium ion batteries. They don't know the effects and all that type of stuff. So that's the thing, that's an enthusiastic mindset. That's kind of the mindset that I have, right? When it comes to my smartphones, I look into all that type of stuff. But the average consumer probably won't. So it's just a little thing to look into and to think about when it comes to technology nowadays and all that type of stuff. Because a friend replied to my story yesterday. I had posted a post at The Verge, but I was talking about the event, and they were like, Apple just really, or they reposted the video saying Apple just really makes features that they can easily add on a software update, and they want to have people waste money on these features, and the phone is not really different. And I told them, well, to a degree, it's both hardware and software, because we're going to talk about the changes for the iPhone 14 lineup. It's both hardware and software. Like, you can't just solely do something like Apple revealed yesterday just by software. It's a hardware thing too. And I told them, well, and they replied to me by saying, oh, if you have the iPhone 10 and up, you're pretty much good. But because I had mentioned to them that Apple is known for small increments. That's why I made the comment for small increments and small updates every single year. They've been doing this for years. Apple is not the type of company to come out with a huge monumental change on their lineups, their smartphone lineups, every single year. And they're the type of company to really play catch up. They're the type of company to say, okay, if we're going to implement this feature or this design change or whatever it is, we're going to take years before we actually make it public and release it because we want to perfect it. So that's the type of company that Apple is. Apple is not the company where every year there's a new innovation, every year there's something big and different, and they're the type of company that will take years to perfect something that's already been seen or known in different smartphone flagships. So that's what I told them, and I told them you're not required to upgrade every year, but like I said earlier, when the episode started, there's two different groups, there's two different spectrums, the consumer base. There's the enthusiast and the average consumer that just wants a good functioning phone. And they told me, if you have the iPhone 10 and up, you're good. And I was like, well, at this point, the iPhone 10 is already 5 years old. It has a really small battery. The display technology is not up to par compared to where it is now. OLED, 120 Hz refresh rate, etc., or 1000 to 2000 nit brightness. It's not a similar phone. So you can't say that if you have an iPhone 10 and up, you would be good in 2022. No, this is like around the time where you would try to figure out what phone you want next, because at that point, smartphones only get software update support for up to 4 years, right? If you have a phone for more than 4 years, first of all, you won't be getting enough software updates that will clear out any bugs or battery problems or any glitches that are affecting your phone's efficiency and performance. So if you're waiting to hold a phone for more than 4 years or 5 years, and you're expecting more software updates, that's one thing. You're not going to be getting more software updates after like 4 years of support, right? So at that point, like, okay, I might as well just get a new phone. And like I said, the technology that was released 5 years ago isn't the same technology now. So if you compare an iPhone 10 to an iPhone 13 Pro, it's obviously a monumental change. See, that's the thing. When you buy smartphones in the long run, where you wait years to buy a new phone, obviously there's going to be a major difference there, because there's a major gap in between smartphone lineups and smartphone releases. Obviously, technology has grown if it's 5 long years. If it's a yearly basis, then yeah, you're not going to see any monumental difference. Correct? But if you're waiting 4 to 5 years to upgrade to your phone, obviously things are going to be different by then. So yeah, I mean, I told them at that, if you still have an iPhone 10, I mean, look, here's how I see it also. If you manage your stuff properly, if you know how to take care of your stuff, and you want to have a smartphone device or a technology device for as long as you want, kudos to you, props to you, I respect it. If you can have a smartphone for more than 5 to 6 years, respect to you, and I understand. Like, you don't want to spend that money, you want to stay with your phone, and that's it. I respect it, because there's people who have computers or laptops from like 2012 and 2013, and that's like almost 12 years now, so that's pretty impressive. And if you are one of those people who are very conservative and who use their phone for or any tech device that they own for a very long time, then that's impressive. And kudos to you, props to you for knowing how to manage and take care of your stuff. But on average, I'd say after the 5th year that you have a smartphone, it's about time to upgrade. And that's pretty much why I told them that. I mean, iPhone 10 is kind of crazy. Like, if you still have an iPhone 10 in 2022 and it's still functioning properly, like I said, kudos to you, props to you, I respect it. That means you know how to manage your stuff, and that's great. But if you have an iPhone 10 that doesn't have a good battery, that the camera technology isn't up to par, you can't even take great, good looking photos with the camera, then it's about that time to be like, okay, you know what, let me at least buy a more current phone. I mean, if you don't want to if you don't want to spend the extra dime to buy the newest model, I told them, if you have an iPhone 11 and up now, you should be good. You know, as long as you manage it properly, and again, as long as you update your software. But like I said, the average consumer is not going to give a damn about software or hardware. That's just how it is. They would just want a good phone that makes phone calls, and they can send text messages, really. And they can download apps and have good functioning apps. That's it. So I told them iPhone 10 is crazy, but if you have an iPhone 11 and up, you should be fine. And yeah, I mean, dude, there's people who still have like iPhone 4 lineups and iPhone 5 And like I said, I'm gonna reiterate. I'm gonna say this once again. Impressive. Congratulations. Literally, I mean that. I'm not even trying to be sarcastic. That's impressive. If you still have like an iPhone, a good functioning iPhone 4, 5, or iPhone 6, or iPhone SE first generation, if you still have that, that's pretty damn impressive. But yeah, that's pretty much how that conversation started and how this little segment began. I just want to let you guys know that you're not required to get these phones every 2 or 3 years. If you want to use a phone for the long run and be smart and save up your money, I respect it. And yes, do that. By all means, do not feel like you need to get the newest phone every single year. But for the enthusiasts, for people who upgrade frequently and do it for content and because they love the technology and what have you, then yeah, we're gonna buy these phones more frequently. But enough with that. We're gonna segue towards the actual event. So what was revealed yesterday during the Apple September 7th iPhone 14 reveal event? And for the first time today, actually, we're going to test out the screen sharing feature in Riverside. As you guys know, I've been recording these Facecam episodes through Riverside. Pretty good platform, can't complain. I've had some few issues before, but overall, the UI, it's super UI friendly. So for the first time today, I'm going to show you guys on Apple's website. Just give me a second. Just make sure I don't share any confidential information. I'm going to have to look really closely when I edit this. I'm going to show you guys what was revealed at the events. So I hope that you guys can see my screen. Okay, I have no idea if it's showing on the actual recording. You guys are going to have to be the judge of that, or I'll have to see it afterwards. But here it is. This is the iPhone 14. And immediately off the jump, you notice the notch. Now, this is probably the most impressive, very intuitive thing that Apple has done with this phone is the notch situation at the top. Now, if we scroll down here, obviously here's some of the descriptions. A new magical way to interact with iPhone. Groundbreaking safety features designed to save lives. We'll talk about that in a minute. An innovative 48 megapixel camera for mind-blowing detail, all powered by the ultimate smartphone chip. So that's just a little preview as to what's in the phone. I really like the way that they do the transitions in the design in Apple's website. Okay, this is the pricing. So just to say, pricing is the same, $1,000 for the main flagship, and then for the baseline models you have, we'll get to the baseline models. They're no different compared to the iPhone 13 from last year, to be honest, but we'll get there. So $1,000 and up starting price for the 14 Pro, same price. Nothing changed there. It was rumored, there were many rumors and articles and stories speculating that the phone's price was going to increase by $50 to $100. So the starting price of the iPhone 14 would have been $1,100 if that was the case. But now that's not the case. So yeah, so starting price $1,000 like last year. And here we go. This is the back of the phone. Like I said, extremely identical to the iPhone 13 lineup, really identical. The camera bump is a little bit larger, just so slightly, because of the 48 megapixel sensor. And for those of you who love purple and who have purple as a favorite color, this is the new deep purple color that they have for the main phone. Looks pretty awesome. It's more like a darkish take on purple. I'm not a big fan of purple myself, but for those of you who love this option, I think this would be tailored to your guys, and you guys would really like this color option for your phone as well. So they have deep purple for the first time, and gold, the typical gold, silver, and then space gray, nothing different there. But yeah, those are the new colors for the phone. And of course, here's some more stats. Ceramic shield, tougher than any smartphone glass, yada yada yada. I'm just going to see what else we can see here. Okay, so here we go. This is what I wanted to cover, and this is what I wanted to talk about. So I'm just going to read this first before we talk about what's going on over here. Introducing the Dynamic Island, a true Apple innovation that's hardware and software, and something in between. It bubbles up music, sports scores, FaceTime, and so much more, all without taking you away from what you're doing. So, for years, I want to say for the last 5 years now, the notch has been known as this placeholder for all the proximity sensors, the Face ID sensors, and the what else? The front-facing camera. It's been known as this holder for all these sensors and cameras for the past 5 years. Has no relevancy, has no reason or purpose as to why it's there, right? And we've been having the notch since the iPhone 10 back in 2017. People started to get tired of it. People wanted to see something new. And just last year, we had a slight change to the notch as it decreased in size just a little bit in the iPhone 13. But this just takes it to a whole nother level, because this actually turns the notch it turns it to an overall alert system and notification system that you've never seen before. So if you have an incoming FaceTime call or a incoming regular phone call, it'll actually populate over here on the notch area. I don't know if it'll show you guys here. I'll play the video for you. It'll actually populate over here in the notch area. So if you're playing music, of course, here's an example. It's just going really fast. I'm gonna let the video roll, and then I'll explain what you can see in the visible content information. So I'll play it one more time for you guys here. So you can see we have music player at the top and then a timer set. It's really fast. I don't know why Apple decided to make this animation really quick, but you guys pretty much get the idea just by looking at this, right? So for the first time in 5 years, the notch is gonna serve as this island, as they're calling it, the dynamic island. So they're not calling it, they're not referring to it as a notch anymore. It's called a dynamic island, where you'll be able to receive alerts and notifications and interact with it, and just do certain tasks at a glance with the notch and the notch only. So if you have a timer, if you set a timer and you swipe up from your clock app, the timer will populate at the top here instead in the background on the lock screen. So instead of having it on the lock screen, it'll be here at the top. So you can interact with it. You can press and hold, have to touch on it, and it'll take you straight to the clock app, or you can interact with the timer right then and there. So it's just a new way to glance at information and to interact with like notifications and alerts just by on the notch. And I feel like it's really, really cool. So if you're playing music, again, it will populate the music platter here at the top. You can pause, go to next track, without having to go through your lock screen or in the app itself. If you use Spotify or Apple Music, you can just stop the track and resume, or go to the next track right on the grasp of your notch at the top. So again, it makes the notch for the first time in an iPhone useful, and actually it serves a purpose. So this is like the biggest thing that was revealed for the iPhone 14, and personally my favorite thing. I didn't think, okay, because for one, let me just say this design is really ugly, right? I don't like this design, excuse me. I despise it. I actually don't like this design. But with the adding of dynamic island, it actually makes it make sense in a way. It makes sense as to why they're doing this pill-shaped design for the notch, and it serves its purpose. So, you know, that's the best thing about it. I'm going to play the little animation one more time so you guys can have an idea how this is going to work once it launches. By the way, the iPhone 14 will be launching on the 16th this month, so next Friday you'll be able to buy them in stores. Like I said, really intuitive, really different, a really different take on what a notch is supposed to be. And I mean, again, kudos to Apple for actually going out of their way and doing something different, you know? Just one more time. Like I said, it's really cool. It's such a cool concept, and it's a concept that I hope over time is going to evolve and change and become better. Because like I said, me personally, I do not like this overall pill-shaped design for the notch. I would much more rather prefer no notch, like just full display, full screen real estate, and just have no notch, or even like a little hole punch. But I mean, this works just fine if you're gonna have the notch actually work intuitively and be useful, just like how it's being shown over here. So I'm gonna play it one more time so that you guys can see how this is going to function. And again, this is probably the best part of the iPhone 14. And yeah, it'll show you charging status if you're charging the device, or I think even like AirPods or anything like that. So again, pretty freaking cool. Dynamic Island, that's pretty much what the notch is going to be called. It's a new way to interact with alerts and notifications right in the notch itself. So awesome stuff. Whew, I'm running out of breath talking about all this stuff. This should be a good episode. Okay. Okay, this is another one. Okay, this is another great feature that is long overdue with the iPhone overall. So for the first time ever, always on display. So now, if those of you who are into technology or are Android fans, I should be more specific here. You guys know that Android has been doing always on displays for the longest time, and pretty much always on displays dims the display to a lower power state so that you can glance information. So basically, your phone is off, or I should say, yeah, your phone is basically off and on at the same time, because you're able to glance on notifications, information in the lock screen, time, while your overall smartphone is at a dimmed brightness state with the display. So it's at a low refresh rate and low brightness state with an always on display, and it's again useful. Like always on displays, I know people say, okay, they're battery burners, they're unnecessary, but I mean aesthetically, and being able to glance information quickly without having to turn on your phone just at a quick glance is useful, and then I feel like it's great. And for the first time ever, Apple has finally done an always on display. This is how it's going to look. Again, this is why I really love Apple's website. Whoever designed this, again, props to you. The way that they do animations and presentation is great. So I'm just going to play to the animation one more time so you guys can see how the dimness looks with the always on display. So it'll just dim out parts of your wallpaper. So as you can see here, part of your wallpaper is going to be dimmed to the point where you can still see it, still visible. But the main part about this is that the time, the clock, your lock screen widgets, if you're on iOS 16, are going to be visible completely, clearly, while your phone's in this low dim state. And Apple claims, like right here, I'm going to scroll down right here, all day battery life, even with so many new capabilities. So they claim that batteries should not be affected because pretty much this always on display functions in a low power mode functionality, and it dims the display brightness and the overall refresh rate to 1 hertz, and that's the lowest that you can go with variable refresh rate. So that way, battery won't have to be sacrificed. So that's what they claim, correct? We're gonna have to see how it really works performance-wise once the phones actually launch in September or on the 16th of this month. So yeah, as you can see here, it reads, now your lock screen is always glanceable, so you don't have to tap it to stay in the know. When the iPhone is turned face down or in your pocket, it goes dark to save battery life. And like it says here, they claim that battery life won't be affected even with this new feature overall. So another great thing, another great addition along with the Dynamic Island. And yeah, your photo, your font widgets. Oh, this is just talking about iOS 16. This is a feature that I'm really waiting for myself, which is live activities, but that's a video for another day that I'm hoping will come out sooner in iOS 16.1. But yeah, hopefully this will be available to us as soon as possible. So iOS 16 lets you customize your lock screen in fun ways, layer a photo to make it pop, track your activity rings, and see live updates for your favorite apps right on your lock screen. So you don't have to open the app or go to the home screen to see all this information. Everything is right here on your lock screen. As you can see, I love how the photos work here in iOS 16, where if you have a photo with a particular subject or a person, it will overlap with the time, and so you'll see the time behind the photo. It just looks really cool. Looks awesome. And yeah, that's it on that end. Oh yeah, so this is going to be interesting because for the first time in a while, the iPhone display brightness will be going up 1,000 knots more. So the 2,000 or not knots, but nits of brightness for the first time in an iPhone. And 2,000 nits is really bright. If you guys have an iPhone 12 or up, and you guys have an iPhone with like an OLED display, you know how bright OLED displays are, color wise and overall brightness, and the amount of light that they emit out of the display. 2,000 nits is really bright, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect battery and efficiency for the iPhone Pro lineup. But overall, the iPhone Pro is getting brighter in the sun and indoors as well. So let's see what the YouTube displays like nothing else. Now, I kind of want to go down. Okay, so I already know what this feature is going to be, and this is just crazy to me. This is insane. So before I show it to you guys, I'm just gonna quickly jump to what the Apple Watch was revealed yesterday. So, what they revealed about the Apple Watch. So there's 3 new models. Obviously, we have the Apple Watch Series 8. So that's like the base model now, and I say now because they did something new. So we have the Apple Watch Series 8, we have the Apple Watch Series 2, SE Series 2, so SE2 pretty much, and the Apple Watch Ultra. And I'll get to the Apple Watch in a second, but there's a feature, there's a feature that's coming from the Apple Watch actually, but this right here that I'm about to show you is insane. And they market it as, we hope you will never have to use any one of these features. So the 2 features that I'm going to talk about. But at the same time, they're going to be really useful if you're the type of person that goes out a lot and explores the outdoors, the unknown, and you're around no civilization whatsoever. These features are going to be really useful. So before I show you the demo, the little demo animation that they have here, I'm just going to say what the feature is. So, yesterday, Apple revealed emergency SOS satellite connection. So, if you're not around a cellular network or don't have connection to Wi-Fi, and you need to send a quick text message to a loved one or a friend, and you just don't have any cellular connection or way to connect to any Wi-Fi services or networks, you can connect via satellite to either call 911 or send an emergency text message to anyone that is available and to anyone that can help you via satellite. So this is the first time that Apple has ever done this, and this could be a huge feature, and this could probably save a lot of people's lives if it's used correctly as well. So yeah, satellite connection for emergency SOS was revealed for both the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Pro. And I'm just going to show you guys the little animation that they have here. Oh, it's right here. Hold on. So it's going to be coming in November, so it won't be launching in with the iPhones themselves. But you'll be able to get our emergency iOS or emergency SOS, via satellite starting in November for 2 years. 3 years for free. So that pretty much confirms that this is not really a feature. This is more like a prescription service, and you will have to pay money in order to use this feature. So this feature is hidden by a service that you have to pay money for. Apple did not clarify or confirm what the price of the service is going to be, but I would hope it's not that expensive, because this is a feature that I think a lot of people would take advantage of, and they don't want to really spend extra money to use a feature that should be universally brought out. So we don't know anything on the pricing, but it will be available in November, and if you buy an iPhone 14, you'll be able to get it for 3 years for free. So no money up front. But yeah, this is an emergency SOS, and they demoed it in the Apple event yesterday by having this like emergency chopper coming to rescue this I guess group of friends or couple, and it's really freaking cool, man. I mean, they actually have a UI for it. I don't know if they show it here. This is something else. Oops. I don't know if they're gonna show it. Okay, so this is the video right here. I'm gonna let the video play. So this is what they demoed or showed yesterday at the Apple event. So as you can see, they're stranded. The helicopter comes down. Or actually, let me see. Okay, so here's the full video. So the woman right here was actually using emergency OS via satellite. I'll probably show you guys what it looks like what the UI actually looks like But yeah, it's a short little teaser as to how the feature is supposed to work. But supposedly they have a really good UI with it where it'll kind of like pinpoint where the satellite is. So for starters, you guys would have to be directly pointing at the sky and have a good angle to connect to a satellite so you can call 911 emergency services or to text a loved one. So it's not something that you can just put your phone up in the air if you're indoors or inside a house or a building and it'll work. No, you have to be outside, out and about for the feature to work and in order for the feature to work. So yeah. But again, really freaking cool. Like they say, we hope no one would have to use this. I mean, we hope neither one of you guys who, buy these products, or anyone even, we hope you guys don't end up in a situation where you're just stranded in the middle of nowhere with all this harm and danger out in the wilderness. Or, this will be a better segue for the next section. We hope that nobody would have to get in any car accidents and have to utilize this feature, crash detection. Now, like I said, this is a feature that was introduced in the Apple Watch for the first time, where it uses a barometer and is this still talking about? No, this is I think this is crash detection, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So crash detection uses barometer, the overall speakers, and a few other sensors and a few other components that Apple built specifically for this feature to detect and vibrations and all of that type of stuff, and motion sensors to detect if you've been in a car crash, and your iPhone will be able to automatically call 911. So again, pretty beneficial features, but features that the company hopes they would never have to use. But again, the feature is there, so you can't really be mad at that Apple is looking into safety and just the safety of the overall users and implementing features that could potentially save a life in any one of these circumstances. So it says here, crash detection calls for help when you can't. That's kind of like the tagline for the feature. iPhone 14 Pro and 14 and the Apple Watch can detect a severe car crash, then call 911 and notify your emergency contacts. So again, pretty good feature. Now this is all software obviously, but again, it's great that they're actually doing this for the next iPhone 14 lineup. Okay, so next, I'm actually going to check how much time have we been recording for. 37 minutes, holy crap. I haven't even spoken about the Apple Watch yet, but we'll get there. So next is obviously the camera. So for this year, after years of being on a 12 megapixel main camera sensor, they've upgraded to 48 megapixels, which will lead to better details, overall better shots. When you take cameras with this, when you take pictures with this camera, it'll just lead to overall good looking photos and just better detailed photos with the 48 megapixel sensor. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not that big of a camera person when it comes to technology or smartphones in particular. Good on the recording, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, so this is where I left off. 48 megapixels will lead to really good shots, really good photos. Overall, more detailed photos on the camera, and that's why you see a slight increase in the size of each camera lens for the iPhone 14 lineup or the iPhone 14 Pro. Up to 4K or 4 times the resolution for jaw-dropping cropping. Okay, that was cringe. Apple with their taglines, man. Anyways, this is one of the shots that they demoed. So obviously this is with, I'm pretty sure this is with like 2 times zoom. But I mean, if you guys can see here, this is a pretty nice looking shot with the 48 megapixel main camera. I mean, it can't get better than this. People have been saying this for years, and I've been preaching this for years. Apple has always outdone any company when it comes to the cameras. They have such good cameras. And that's not to say that Android cameras are not great, don't get me wrong, but Apple just knows what to do when it comes to the camera department. So they have here more descriptions. iPhone 14 Pro raises the bar for what 48 megapixels can do, delivering 4 times the resolution in Pro RAW for mind-blowing detail in every crop. So just overall better video and better pictures. the picture of versatility. So you can see here more shots. Main pixel or main sensor. This is all taken with the main sensor. Macro, of course, with different zooms. And again, you can just see how good. I mean, I don't know if the images are going to be compressed in the video, but in my POV, these shots look really good. So this is taken with the new 2x zoom. So they added a new zoom option, so it's not just 0.5 and 3x. There's now a 2x zoom option when you take pictures. And yeah, like I said, this looks really good. New Pro camera system adds a 2x optical quality telephoto to its zoom range, putting tons of framing flexibility in your pocket, up your frame game. Again, these taglines are a little cringe up, but you guys need to be you guys need to do better than that. But anyways, yeah, camera, significant upgrade with the new 48 megapixel sensor, the new 2x zoom on the telephoto lens. Really good shots, as you guys can see here. I mean, again, I don't know if it'll look really good on your end, but on my end, this looks fantastic. So again, Apple outdoing it with the cameras. Nothing new here. They've always done well with the camera department. Can't even deny it. And yeah, is that it? Is that all? Like the major parts? Oh, video's down here. This is camera. So now we're gonna go on to video. 24 breathtaking frames per second. So yeah, cinematic mode now supports 4K HDR, high dynamic range, at 24 FPS. So if you're somebody who is a photographer and you guys, let's say you guys shoot with your overall iPhone, and you guys use it, or videographer even, or filmmaker, and you guys use cinematic mode, you guys will be able to record cinematic mode on 4K high dynamic range at 24 FPS. So it's really good for those of you. Pretty much cinematic mode is getting better. And here's a little demo of cinematic mode going to work. It will dim any subject or anything that's behind the subject that's in front. It'll blur it out, so it only focuses on the subject that's closest to the camera, to the sensor. So cinematic mode was cool, but I don't see a lot of people actually using it unless you have a huge influence in filmmaking or videography as well. So again, another preview of cinematic mode that now supports 4K at 24 FPS. Good stuff. 4K 24 or 30 FPS. So if you're a 30 FPS person, you can now record up to that as well. Oh gosh, the website is like glitching for me, so I don't know if it'll show that in the recording. I will see. Shaky action. Okay, so yeah, they added a new action mode to the video making process with the iPhone that will basically stabilize any sudden movement or shaking and make the overall moving video as stable as possible, so it's not as shaky or disturbing to the eye, right? So they have a little video here I'm gonna play. I don't know, it's not playing. Hold on. Okay, the video's not playing, but basically they demoed it. It's this guy running through a track where it usually, without the action mode, it was really shaky, really moving. There was a lot going on. But with the action mode, it's able to stabilize the image and keep the image as sturdy and as still as possible, so the video can come out great and not as shaky when you're making videos. So cool little feature for the video compartment. And yeah, that's the iPhone 14 camera. Again, very small increments, but increments that will make for great features in the long run if you have an iPhone 14 Pro. And if you utilize the camera like for photography or videography, I think these features are for you. So that's it. That's the iPhone camera. See if I'm missing anything else. So again, another shot here, 2 times better. Oh yeah, so performance in low light, so resolution and low light photos have gotten better with the new 48 megapixel sensor. And I think that's it. Okay, so the rest of this is more technical stuff. Processor, the A16. You guys would probably not give a damn about this, but better processor, more transistors, better core performance in the GPU and the CPU, and that's pretty much it on that end. Okay, and once again, I mean, this is kind of like a every year moniker. All in, all day for the battery. Even with so many capabilities, it says here, iPhone 14 Pro still delivers amazing all day battery life. Again, we won't really know that until it's confirmed and people actually make videos on this phone once it drops. They're saying up to 29 hours on video playback on iPhone 14 Pro Max and 23 hours of video playback on the base iPhone 14 Pro. So again, we shall see. Oh, okay, this is huge. Also, actually, this is really huge. Okay, so for those of you who rely on the physical SIM cards or the physical SIM card tray, I hate to break it to you guys, but starting with the iPhone 14, every model or every iPhone going forward in the US will no longer have a physical SIM card tray. So everything will be eSIM. So as it says here, so long SIM tray. eSIM makes things simple. You can activate your new iPhone or ad carriers digitally, so you're calling and texting in no time. So we don't know if this is going to make connectivity or cellular performance better with eSIM, but yeah, that's kind of like the big news with iPhone 14. No more physical SIM tray, all eSIM, all digital, going forward. And yeah, I know some people are not going to take that lightly. They're going to be like, well, damn, I kind of prefer having a physical eSIM for so on and so forth. But, you know, times change. Times just change a lot when it comes to technology. And this is like a major move with the iPhone going forward as well. And honestly, I think this is a move that every smartphone manufacturer, every Android manufacturer, Samsung, Huawei, or Google are going to start doing this and take it into Apple's footsteps as well. But people already start. eSIM is not nothing new, but to the point where they eliminate the physical SIM tray, I feel like that's going to be a huge movement going forward with smartphones as well. And yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything regarding the iPhone. And I don't think I'm going to have enough time to cover the Apple Watch. But I'm going to try it. This is going to be another long episode to record. Oh, also, by the way, since I am showing context on this episode, I'm not sure if this is going to be going to Spotify, because obviously you guys are just going to hear me say, oh yeah, so here you can see this, here you can see that, and you guys won't even hear anything. So I'm going to try my best, once I edit this episode, I'm going to try my best to kind of cut those parts out, but I'm making it known right now, if this is going on Spotify, if you're coming from Spotify, you guys won't be able to see, well, actually, maybe, you know what, I think you will, because I think with Riverside, you can upload video podcasts to Spotify using Riverside, so I'm going to try that out for the first time, see if it works. So I'll see, but regardless, if it's on Spotify or not, or if you guys hear me say on Spotify this, and he's like, what the hell is he talking about? He's not showing nothing. Well, obviously, because it's just the audio. Just letting you guys know beforehand. But yeah, back to this. So that's pretty much everything iPhone 14 covered in one segment. And I've spent 48 minutes covering this phone. So yeah, that's the big meal, the big course for the iPhone or the September event from yesterday. Again, iPhone 14 base model. I'm not going to cover it because it's the same thing. I mean, if you have an iPhone 13, like a baseline iPhone 13, you might as well just keep it because it's literally the same phone. But on other notes, on other stories, we're going to be covering what's brand new on the Apple Watch. So once this is loaded, and as you guys can see here at first glance, we have the Apple Watch Ultra, which this is a damn good watch, let me just say. But I'm gonna pretty much quickly cover the baseline Apple Watch for those of you who want to see what changed here. Again, nothing crazy besides Crash detection is on every single Apple Watch coming out this year. As you guys can see, same curved design on this watch. That's the case. Same curved design, big 48 millimeters on display, or I think the Apple Watch Ultra is 48 millimeters. I forgot what size this is. But yeah, big large display, curved edges on this one. Nothing new here. It's the same as the Apple Watch Series 7. So nothing new design wise. But this is where it matters. So the features. For the first time ever, the Apple Watch is going to have its very own temperature sensor and blood glucose sugar sensor as well. And it will be able to track ovulation cycles for those of you who go through menstrual cycles. All the women out there, all my ladies. It will be able to track ovulation cycles through your Apple Watch and through your Apple Watch solely. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to read this little description here so you guys can get an idea of what's coming to the new Apple Watch. So your essential companion is now even more powerful, introducing temperature sensing for deeper insights into women's health, crash detection to help in any emergency. So crash detection is a Apple Watch feature that was first introduced, but then they introduced it for the iPhone as well. And sleep stages to better understand your sleep, and new ways to train using the enhanced workout app. And the future of health never looked so good. So yeah, like I said, they were really trying to put a big emphasis on the idea of improving overall features and technology with health. Like I said, having a temperature sensor and blood glucose sensor is going to be huge. If you're diabetic or if you have issues with blood glucose, this is going to be a huge feature as well. So props to Apple for really putting emphasis and care into the health side of things for their users, and it's good stuff. Dude, I'm gonna have no voice recording these episodes. Durability design, again, the same design, nothing new here. Smooth and seamless, same edge to edge design for the display, and always on displays. Yep. We just see here, water resistant, dust resistant, crack resistant, same old. And I think that's it on that. Okay, so here we go. As you guys can see here, we have sleep stages, heartbeats, and blood glucose on the left here. So we have all these features for the health and the different sensors, which is great. Again, Apple's really put big emphasis onto the smallest form factors in the sense of their smartwatches, which is a huge leap when it comes to accessibility and help and overall looking out for the users. It's great. So the more informed you are about your health, the more empowered you are and you are to affect it. Advanced health sensors in Apple Watch Series 8 provide insights to help you better understand your health. So like I said, temperature sensing. So here's the actual sensor. Understanding your cycle like never before. Apple Watch Series 8 has innovative new sensor that tracks your temperature while you sleep, so you can see changes over time. Cycle tracking uses this data to provide a retrospective estimate of when you likely ovulated. So like I said, ovulation cycles for all the women out there, which can be helpful for family planning as well. When combined with your heart rate and logged cycle data, you'll get detailed view of your menstrual cycle. So like I said, a huge feature when it comes to health. It's great that they're actually finally doing this with the Apple Watch. And who knows, maybe they'll implement this on, actual iPhone. So this is how it's going to look for those of you who go through menstrual cycles. You're going to get notifications like these, where it's like a rough estimate as to when the temperature sensor or your Apple Watch thinks you ovulated. So you see here, ovulation date estimated. It's likely you ovulated on Friday, September 2nd, 2022. And it's just a great glance of just really important health information and health data overall. Period protections, less of a question mark. Get improved period protections with wrist temperature data. And now you can receive notifications if your logged cycle data shows a possible cycle deviation like irregular or prolonged periods. You can share your cycle history with your healthcare provider for more informed conversations. So again, track ovulations. You could track your menstrual cycles through your Apple Watch with this new temperature sensor as well. So good stuff, health-wise. And that was like the big health feature with the Apple Watch as well. So again, heartbeat, take an ECG at any time. ECG, with the ECG app, Apple Watch Series 8 is capable of generating an ECG similar to a single lead electrocardiogram. So again, just great improvements to health on the Apple Watch. And yeah, or actually wait, did I confuse that? I'm sorry. I think this is for, no, this is heartbeat. I think this is heartbeat. And this right here is the blood glucose measurement right here. Measure your blood oxygen. It's a breathtaking innovation. The remarkable sensor and app on Apple Watch Series 8 allow you to take on-demand readings of your blood oxygen as well as background readings day and night. So this is great. The fact that you can track all this stuff health-wise right at the touch of your wrist, and you don't have to resort to physical. I don't know. I'm not sure what the machine is called, but you don't have to resort to physical machines to track your blood and glucose if you do need one. If you have an Apple Watch, you can just do it right then and there. But of course, I mean, this is not something that's software related. You would have to buy the newest Apple Watch with the temperature sensor to take advantage of these features, but that's, I'll take customer choice and decision. And yeah. Oh yeah, crash detection is also on the Apple Watch as well, like I mentioned. Nothing crazy with the baseline Series 8. Like I said, it's the same design as the Series 7, but now with the new temperature sensor. And you know what? We're going to take it to the big boy, the newest and greatest for the Apple Watch. And that is the Apple Watch Ultra. Now for the first time, I'm going to click Learn More. For the first time ever, we're going to have an Apple Watch model that has flat edges with the display and a titanium surrounding all throughout the watch. Now, if you guys don't know, titanium is one of the strongest metals and materials out there, and the fact that they're starting to put titanium on the Apple Watch is just insane to me. Now, let me just start by saying that this watch is tailored towards extreme sport athletes, people that explore upon boundaries and boundaries. This is not a watch that if you're just going to use for regular use, I would just suggest getting the regular Apple Watch or the Apple Watch SE. But if you are out and about and you're out, doing dangerous activities or extreme activities in the wilderness, this watch is the watch for you, because this watch is going to be a capable and pretty durable watch when it comes to the Apple Watch Ultra. So I'm going to scroll down here. So it says, meet the most rugged and capable Apple Watch ever with a robust titanium case, precision dual frequency GPS, up to 30, which will be useful with the compass on the actual watch if you're navigating or exploring. Up to 36 hours of battery life. Now, okay, this is huge for a lot of people, because people have been asking for better battery life on an Apple Watch for the longest freaking time. So this is crazy that Apple's actually doing this.